Hotel brothers and sisters, black power as always, giving honor to the creator, giving honor to the ancestors, chief of staff, brother Harris Abdul, my sister, my father, my in-laws, subscribers, family members, friends, comrades, all my brothers and sisters that are confined, held in these prisons behind enemy lines, all my subscribers, viewers, and those who are fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black nation. First of all, before I get into, I'm going to do two topics today, and I'm going to be talking about some particulars where first of all, as you see, these three devils there, pictured there, were supposedly arrested today for plotting to create mass murders in different parts of the country. You have Tristan Scott, Brandon Wagshaw, and James Reardon. Tristan Scott, he's from Daytona Beach. James Reardon is from Ohio, and Wagshaw is from Norwalk, Connecticut. And Norwalk said he wanted to break the record of mass murders at one time. He stated that 100 would be fine with him. If he can kill 100 of us, that would be okay with him. You know, those, see, and let me give you the rundown on what a white supremacist mindset is. They hate blacks, Jews, and homosexuals, illegal immigrants. And to murder any of those people on a mass level, they will sacrifice a few of theirs. Number one, to make it appear that it's not racially motivated. And number two, casualties of war. And these devils are serious because they have been given the green light to go ahead and create these. See, these mass murders are orchestrated. These are orchestrated. These are just not, excuse me, these are just not your average people. These crackers are connected. They are connected and plugged in. They are Manchurian candidates. Plain and simple. Most of them, if you look at the profile, most of them have some military experience, prescription drug addiction, alcohol addiction, very abusive, come from very abusive verbal, physical, and in some cases sexual home. And so they cannot stand the fact, and a lot of them, believe me, they do intense studying. A lot of them know who the original man and woman of the planet is. They know who it is. The black man and the black woman. This is why they go on these killing sprees. That's another reason. Because they are very highly intelligent, inbred fuckers. They know exactly what they're doing because they're being programmed to do this shit. And see, when y'all look at this, y'all think that when they get locked up, it's over with. These crackers become heroes and icons and martyrs for white supremacy. They become major shot callers in the Aryan Brotherhood in these prisons all around the United States. And so don't think that when they go in, they're going to be around a whole bunch of black men and then they're going to punish them. Because, see, now, you know, black men don't do shit no more. They'll sit and stab and rape their own. But the majority of them want to see what they can get out of a cracker, so they'll befriend him and play like the dad protecting him. Nobody better not bother him. And then when his food run out, his potato chips and no money on the books, then they throw him away. So, and Aryan Brotherhood has caught on to that. So it's no more of that. And what they'll do, they'll punish the nigga that does that. You know. So, but nevertheless, you know, this is what they were planning to do. Go on these killing sprees. Why is it's a plot behind this? Before I close with this, there's a plot behind this. Why would the media and law enforcement put this out? And when they search these homes of these so-called mass killers, they had magazines, no major weapons or explosives or hand grenades and anthrax. None of that shit was found. It's a distraction for something else. So, you know, brothers and sisters, just be on the standby. Now, I want to talk about something, Black Power and Hotep to Brother James in Los Angeles, who I talked to earlier concerning this situation here, the Atlanta child murders. Now, let's be honest. We all know that Wayne Williams did not murder those children. Wayne Williams did not murder those children. Now, he's guilty of one murder in which, like I told you all before, he had a homosexual relationship with this one boy, and they got into a fight in which Wayne Williams slammed this boy and his head hit the corner of a dumpster and it killed him. And Wayne Williams put the boy in the dumpster. That's the murder that he's guilty of. In my opinion, he has repented, and he's been walking around the last 10 years trying to get someone to do an interview with him. Now, let's take a look at that. They never interviewed Wayne Williams. Now, they interviewed Charles Manson. They were interviewing him on a regular, having specials on him. They did a documentary with the white boy that blew up the Oklahoma Trade Center. You know, the Unabomber. See, all these, they had interviews and, you know, diagnosing and going to examine and see what was going on with them and all this bullshit. Talking to them. Doing death row. Talking with death row inmates on a regular. Mumi Abu Jamal has a radio set up in the penitentiary where he's at. And he has a newspaper that he pushes. Wayne Williams has nothing. Why do you think they don't want to hear from Wayne Williams? Number one, because the last interview they did with Wayne Williams was about 15, 20 years ago. Wayne Williams implicated the CDC, the Klan, and the CIA. That was the end. That was the end of major interviews, as far as I know. Now, let's be real about this. You know, our children, this generation, don't even know about a Wayne Williams. And it's a damn shame. And this brother has been incarcerated 40-something odd years. You know, for the murder of over 20 children, boys. Now, through intense research and just common sense, y'all, common sense, because let me make this clear, a lot of y'all don't believe nothing your people say. But you will watch the news and look at the news like it's fucking biblical and Quranic law. And they lie through their teeth every day. They set the whole stage up because they know you're going to believe it. 90% of you are trained to believe the news. Let me give you an example. That's why when you have a conversation, most black people say, yeah, they say it's going to rain today. They say, who is they? See, they means you don't even know yourself. Because you're unable to pinpoint directly where the source of that information comes from. So you just go by whoever's conveying the information. And then that's they. They said, yeah, they said, Jordan is a billionaire. That's what they said. That's what they said. And they lie through their teeth. Why don't you niggas believe that? Why? Why? It behooves me that, you know, in 2019, a lot of y'all still act like it's 1919. These boys were murdered. And I'm going to tell you how this went down. You know, most of them didn't have no shirts on. Their zippers were down. A lot of them were de-organed. So they were doing this stuff back in the 70s, late 60s and 70s, where they were organ harvesting. That just did not come out for you. You know, I got conscious yesterday niggas. They have been doing this. And so, if you do the research and look and understand and accept and be receptive to your brothers and sisters on social media that are true to the game, you know, because you're able to dissect whether a brother or sister is rape real and straight goddamn gangster. You can detect that. But you got to take the information as well and be open and receptive. You know, these boys were found, their penises were cut off, the tips of their penises were cut off on all of them. They were castrated from their penis, the heads of their penises were castrated from these little boys. Now, I'll tell you why. The highest level, if not the highest, it's one of the highest levels of concentrated melanin is in the head of the penis on the black man. That's why it doesn't matter what shade you are. For a man and a woman, the penis stays, the penis is melanated. You can be lighter than damn near albino, but your genitals will be melanated, dark melanation. Same with the woman. Doesn't matter how light or dark that you are. The lips of the vagina are going to be melanated. Melanated. So these boys, and some of them were deorganized. Not all of them. Not all of them. Because through investigation, time was a factor with the CDC and the Klan. Because they had to kill these boys, deorganize these boys before the authorities. Now you had authorities, you had police and detectives that were committed, that was green to what was really going on, but kept their mouths shut when they saw the tips of their penises gone. See, a lot of people were in on this. Now, this devil here, Charles Sanders, was known and admitted and declared that he was going to kill a black boy that night. I'm not caught up with the little boy's name yet, but this cracker was after him, and he wound up being murdered. And the mother said she knew for a fact that Wayne Williams didn't do it. She knew that. And you know, a mother's instinct when it comes to her child or her children, she knows. And so they let this bitch go because they said that they had no evidence. And we let it slide. You know, we let him go, and he's still out there now, having fun. After he killed the little baby, he may have killed more. But the Grand Dragon and the Grand Wizards of the Klan were on a serious hunt for black boys and black men. And let me tell you that it's not a coincidence that there was a shootout, broad daylight, with the Klan and some brothers in the street. This was 1978. And it's no coincidence in Greensboro. And they filmed it live on television. Live television of a shootout between the Klan and some brothers in the hood. But this fucker here, you know, got away with murder. And he may have murdered more than one. And if you look at him, you can see the guilt that's written all over his face. You can see it. To murder all of these boys. All of these boys. So, let me just break this down to you. It couldn't have been no one person. It couldn't have been no two people. See, this was a group. This was a group execution of boys in Atlanta. Now, another thing. It's also a sign that black women are always being watched. See, how was it that all these young boys got out of the sight of their parents and got out of the sight of home? When the first boy was killed, why didn't all the rest of the boys take heed to that, go home, get off of the street until things are situated in terms of making an arrest, in terms of raising the curfew and some other things? How did these boys manage to hang out during a time in a crisis where the Klan, the CDC, were going around killing them. So not to offend or go on any mothers or any of the parents of these boys, but let's take a look at it. You know, if you don't fit that, if it didn't happen to you, don't worry about it. But you're not going to tell me that some of these boys come from unsupervised and unmonitored families, which left them prey for these devils. You know, Wayne Williams today, after 40-something years, I believe he's been in 42 years. That is a long, long time. And for someone who, now it's not like he's a celebrity where, you know, entertainers and athletes come and see him, and, you know, they fixed it where the world turned against him. The black community totally turned against him. I'm not a Wayne Williams fan by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get it confused. However, when you being used as a scapegoat for these murders that took place, then, you know, I have issues with that. We have an issue. Because the true culprits are not apprehended. And so, really, that means that, see, white America knows about this. But our children, you ask the average 14-year-old on the street, have they ever heard of Wayne Williams or the Atlanta child murders? They will tell you no. This is how much they have put Wayne Williams in a box, literally. Yeah, it's quite strange, but it makes true sense that the headquarters of the CDC is where? In Atlanta. In Atlanta. Come on, brothers and sisters. You all are not that green. And the Klan, it wasn't a secret by any means that they were riding around late at night during the time of these Atlanta child murders in full uniform. And so the Grand Wizard and Grand Dragons put the orders out, met with the CDC and other political figures concerning the annihilation of these boys. And I'll show you why, exactly why. That's the Grand Dragon, supposedly former Grand Dragon, kissing Hillary Clinton, who says that the black boys are super predators. Do you hear me? Now, does it make sense to you now that the Clinton Chronicles, that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton have murdered over 200 people? Now, if that's not enough for you, let's see what Hillary says about the Grand Dragon. Calls the Grand Dragon the heart and soul of America. The heart and soul of America. And see, the last election, you all wanted Hillary Clinton, which she has a hand and controls. She's a female black widow white bitch, and she's a spider. She's a fucking snake. She's a serpent slithering around black people, running them in circles, getting them dizzy for the bite. For the bite. And she's doing that today. Don't think that this was a one-time event that she met with the Grand Dragon. Now, it was impossible. And if you call the Grand Dragon the heart and soul of America, then you have had dealings with him to come up with that conclusion about this motherfucking devil. Y'all gotta wake up, man. I'm telling you. See, a lot of y'all, you sit around and, try to critique every motherfucking body, and dissect a whole bunch of bullshit. But you're not looking at this shit for real. You're not looking at it for real. Shout out to Deborah Lugo. Shout out to Diane Nelson. Shout out to Gladys Holcutt and her moms. It's time for us to get busy. Combine our resources. Because I can come to your city and do PowerPoint presentations and lectures and show you some shit that you will never get from me on YouTube, on social media, period. So it's time for all of us to wake up. Listen, all of you have the potential and the energy in your DNA to stand tall and firm. Stop thinking about the past. Stop bullshitting with a whole bunch of fuckery that has already taken place. Move on from that shit. Study this shit because it's very important. That's the worst feeling in the world. You sitting around in a basic conversation dealing with politics, dealing with genocide. You can't even blend or add your input because you don't know what the fuck's going on. And if you do add something, it's pure fucking emotion. It's Brother Shaka Sankofa, Street Law Soldiers. I'll be back soon with another video. And so, in the meantime, as always, brothers and sisters, Hotep, Black Power.